Namaste to all of you. At the outset, I apologize that due to pressing commitments here at IIT Madras, I am not in a position to come and attend the function at the Alagappa Chettiar institution. The loss is definitely mine, and in the next opportunity, certainly I will visit the institution. I thank the organizing committee of this event to have chosen me to deliver this lecture. What I thought was that as India is moving towards the 100th year of independence in 2047, we have 25 years left over, which our Honorable Prime Minister calls as the Amrit Kal. What is it that youngsters who will be defining the science and technology of our country in the coming years should aspire? What are the important research and education activities that are happening across the country, specifically in the area of emerging and disruptive technologies? I had an opportunity to do a survey of this across the IITs, and I would like to present here to this audience what are some of the very interesting research and education activities that are happening in these important areas of emerging and disruptive technologies in our country across the IITs. Friends, we are in the Industry 4.0 era. What is Industry 4.0? Industry 1.0 was mechanization, primarily driven by water power and steam power. Industry 2.0 was influenced by electricity, where we looked at mass production and assembly lines driven by electricity. The Industry 3.0 was driven by computer and automation, computer aided automation, and Industry 4.0, which we are currently witnessing, is based on what we call as cyber physical systems. There are systems which do a lot of activities by interfacing to the physical world, but at the same time on the other end they are interconnected through the internet. These cyber physical systems pose lot of interesting opportunities and challenges which when properly tapped can lead to lot of societal benefits. Today there is a need that we have to have a combination of disruptive and emerging technologies that would provide a transformative impact on societies and economies. So the cyber physical systems that are part of Industry 4.0 essentially are going to be the transformative entities on our societies and economies, and a proper understanding of that, proper research in those direction is extremely crucial for our country to scale to the next level of economy, what we may call as multi-trillion dollars of economy. Friends, this is what we see today. When we look at technology, there are three horizontals that I may call. The topmost what you see there are the sample application areas. These are some representative areas that I have put, but there are many more that we can add, starting from agriculture, financial technologies, logistics, healthcare, and space technologies. There are many more that we can add in the application areas, and all of them need a cyber physical system. All of them need emerging and disruptive technologies to basically get the best software or hardware or system released in each of these areas. As we proceed to Industry 4.0, these sample application areas will utilize one or more of the emerging techniques that includes artificial intelligence, data science, simulation and modeling, secure systems which protect your data, which assures data privacy, and most importantly intelligent manufacturing. And all these emerging technologies or emerging techniques as we may call are based on certain basic building blocks. Some of the top 4 among the basic building blocks that are necessary for the industry 4.0 includes high speed internet access and mobility, which includes 4G, 5G, 6G, etc. High performance computing on the cloud, lot of sensors on the field, Internet of Things, which are sensors interfaced with small processing systems that could communicate to the external world, and embedded systems. And advanced materials and renewable energy sources is another basic building block. And of course, certain technology development infrastructure like the 3D, 4D printing and cloud technologies, these are some of the basic building blocks. So, the application areas use the emerging techniques that are built upon these basic building blocks to achieve certain very interesting solutions for the society, and also which could play an important role in transforming our economy. An example of a cyber physical system, I hope many of you have used this, is the Arogya Setu, where you see if 2 persons A and B have installed Arogya Setu, they also keep their Bluetooth on and come in close proximity, then the device ID of A gets stored in the mobile phone of B and vice versa. So, in the event of A testing positive, then the details in his mobile are copied in a secured fashion to the cloud and processed to find out who should be warned or notified. So, in A's mobile phone, B's device ID would be there, and essentially B will get a warning saying go and test. Now, this Arogya Setu is used currently by 19.5 crore users, and as you see, why I put this example of Arogya Setu is that this is software which a bunch of people, 10 to 15 people designed within 21 days and really faced the COVID crisis with a tracing application. So, the Arogya Setu involves sensors, basically Bluetooth, local aggregator or mobile phones, and data transmission to cloud and processing by cloud. So, all these things are happening in Arogya Setu. So, Arogya Setu is indeed what we may call as a cyber physical system. So, this essentially gives us a big picture. Like in Arogya Setu, what is this entire cyber physical system about? It is unity in diversity. What we want here is a single window interdisciplinary platform specializing on sensor manufacturing, sensor testing and characterization, and sensor interfacing with control system. If you just look at Arogya Setu, the sensor is Bluetooth and sensor interfacing with control system is the mobile. So, Bluetooth getting interfaced in the mobile with the respective device driver, etc. And the next is establishing command and control through actuators, which is again Bluetooth sensing mechanism. And then there is a networking the sensor to aggregators and secure data transmission to the cloud, which also happened here. And then there is a decision support system on the cloud, which was giving the notifications for all COVID tested positive patients, their mobile phone, whatever device ID it had, for all those device ID, it had details of how close the device was and for how much time, and based on that it basically gives a warning. So, this is all part of the entire system. So, to conclude, education and research in emerging and disruptive technologies must focus on such type of an unity in diversity platform, where you have a complete stack starting from sensors to a local aggregator to a cloud, and there is a very systematic decision making. The next important activity that is happening that is also needed for our Amrit Kal is technology for medicines, technology for medical sciences. One of the efforts taken by many IITs today is to develop a world-class research environment for medical sciences and develop whom we may call as well-trained physician scientists. Who is a physician scientist? An engineer who had understood medicine or a doctor who has understood engineering in a reasonably significantly large way is called a physician scientist or a physicianeer, right? Like an engineer, we can call a physicianeer, right? Now, what are these physician scientists? What are they doing? They are actually the bridge between the medicine and the science, and they are the people who tie the bench and the bedside, and these are the people who are trained to conduct independent scientific investigation in the laboratory. For example, clinical health services, how good they are, population health, community engagement and health equity. Note that friends, 37% of the Nobel Prize winners are physician scientists. And they play a key role in pharma industry. 70% of the chief scientific officers at top 10 pharma companies and the NIH health institutes are physician scientists. And there are 60 plus such programs. There are 100 such programs in the United States which are more than 6 decades old, which talks of generating physician scientists. And most of the faculty appointments in the United States medical schools are from this pool. As a country, India must start looking at developing such type of physician scientists who will be playing a very, very, very crucial role in bringing up our technology for medicine, which is extremely important to ensure quality health care at an affordable price for our country. Physician scientists are basically the driving force behind the mechanistic understanding of the diseases, development of therapies, devices and technology. Roughly 60 to 70% of the FDA approvals, policy guidelines that dictate patients' diagnosis, treatment and recovery time, all these have been influenced by the work of physician scientists. And these physician scientists are those who have basically talked of this causal relationship between diseases and other parameters. For example, the link between sugar and diabetes, smoking and cancer, etc. These may not have been proven without physician scientists. As a country, we have very heavy dependence on imports of medical devices, and we need to revitalize the medical device industry in our country. And we also have a very specific need for India specific research on high prevalence of non-communicable diseases. So these are some of the very interesting things that we are looking at from the medical school angle. Now I will just talk about some of the sample education initiatives for the new era by the higher education institutions, just to give all of you a feeler of what is happening. There are a lot of new courses that are unheard of in normal conventional curriculum that we have been introducing. For example, courses on 3D modeling, 3D printing at the first year itself in many of the IITs, as you see. And of course, BTech, MTech and PhD in very hot topics like data science and AI, mechatronics, electric vehicle technology. All these things are happening at the IITs, as you see. In addition, IIT Madras has something very unique. At the end of the third year, any undergraduate student can basically take any one of these 10 programs. So 9 programs you see here, but there are, today we have another 3 more that are added. It is yet to be announced on quantitative finance, MA in public policy, etc. So what you see on the right hand side is a set of interdisciplinary postgraduate programs which any B.Tech student can take at the end of second year, so that they do some more electives related to this topic, and in 5 years they get a B.Tech on their original degree and an M.Tech, interdisciplinary M.Tech in any one of them. For example, interdisciplinary M.Tech in quantum science and technology, in advanced methods and nanotechnology. So we will have, they can basically get 2 degrees here. So this is the interdisciplinary postgraduate program being done by IIT Madras. There are also a lot of courses on additive manufacturing, climate change, e-waste, resource engineering and management, smart mobility, integrated sensor systems, medical device innovation, semiconductor materials and devices. There are also MSc program in medical physics. So these are all some of the very interesting interdisciplinary programs that are spawned by many IITs, basically to bring in the culture of interdisciplinary research and development. The IITs are also joining with the IIMs to offer certain very interesting joint degree programs. What you see here is an MS in Data Science and Management. It is a joint degree program between IIT Ropar and IIT Indore. There are a lot of joint masters and PhD in medical technology. For example, IIT Jodhpur and AIIMS, IIT Madras, Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute, Trivandrum and Christian Medical College. These are all some joint programs, masters program in the area of medical technology and clinical engineering, etc. And there are many more very interesting courses that are introduced by many IITs. For example, there is a course on brain science, there is a course on digital humanities, how the humanities as a field is going to manifest itself in the digital era. So these are all very interesting courses that are part of this. Friends, I am also very happy to introduce the BS Data Science and Programming course at IIT Madras. What you see in the photo is with 1/10 of the number of students. So today we have more than 12,000 students who have enrolled for this program, and this program has multiple exit options as listed in the National Education Policy. If you have not read the National Education Policy, I strongly suggest that you download it. It's called NEP 2020, the National Education Policy 2020. So the National Education Policy says many things, but one of the things is this multiple exit options, that somebody joins a degree, there should be different points where they can get out with something significant for what they have worked for, and then no age gap and no entrance exam. So these are all some of the things recommended in the National Education Policy, and this BS Data Science and Programming course that is offered by IIT Madras ticks very good number of boxes that are listed in the NEP. For example, there is no age gap here. We are admitting thousands of students every year, and there is no. It can be there are multiple exit options. At the end of first year, you get a certificate. At the end of second year, you get a diploma. Then still you want to continue, you can go to the third and fourth year. At the end of this, where you will get a degree, and also we are also working towards a good placement cell for this program. What you see there is around 1,000 students who have assembled that day on a particular day, which are only 1/10 of the population. Why we have included this photo here is to show the scale at which this whole program is operated at. Now, given these topics of how education is happening in the IITs and other education institutions, now I will spend the remaining part of my allotted time on the sample research initiatives for the new era by IITs. What are research work being done? Quantum key distribution is actually a very important topic, and it has been pursued very seriously by IIT Delhi. Quantum device development is also very important. It has started in some way in IIT Goa, but you can see that lot more of work need to be done in the area of energy and quantum, and these are some very baby steps that has been taken by these IITs successfully. There is also a lot more of algorithms and software that are needed and communication paradigms that are needed in the quantum setup, and so there are many teams who are working together on post quantum cryptography and quantum communications. What you see there in IIT Delhi's contribution is a handheld device that could diagnose dengue easily. There is also healthcare technologies that you see on the right hand side, which is the first ever point of care device that detects gram specific bacterial biomarkers in human plasma under 10 minutes. It just takes 10 minutes to do this analysis, and it is very useful as a point of care device. This development is also from IIT Delhi, and what you also see that Ayurtech is basically setting up technology innovation labs, specifically concentrating on Indian medicine system. IIT Jodhpur and IIT Madras have such very interesting programs. This is a CAR-T therapy for cancer. This can go up to, if we are done with an imported equipment, it can go up to 5 crores per patient, and it is not available in India at any price currently. IIT Bombay has done something very close to this, and based on this the cost can reduce to at most 90%, and this can enable access of technology at affordable cost and development of novel products and platform for many more startups to come and work here. So the CAR-T therapy technology development, the CAR-T therapy technology development is very crucial today, and which brings down the cost of treatment of cancer in a significantly lower amounts. This is a startup company from IIT Bombay which has successfully implemented this. Then there are a lot of other devices that you see, the low cost ventilator by IIT Hyderabad, and Smart Healthcare. This is an initiative across IITs plus IISc, where they are looking at AI for disease diagnosis, portable health devices, specifically neonatal, smart miniature cameras for endoscopy and imaging techniques, and drug discovery and treatment protocols for rare diseases. Specifically on the muscular dystrophy, IIT Jodhpur is doing some very interesting work. In addition, on the textile side, there is a lot of work done here. High performance medical textile, it is called Fabium, which will destroy 99.9% viruses within 30 minutes, and this is in a pandemic prone zone. This offers lot more significance, where it can capture the virus and kill them. So there are large scale manufacturing with industrial partners is necessary to scale such type of fabrics to greater heights. There is also a subglottic secretion drainage device which is used for pneumonia patients, and is portable and with the current ICU. And IIT Mandi interestingly have found a new molecule PK2 for treatment of diabetes without, it's just a oral delivery. Diabetes need injection, and diabetes need that this is stored at room temperature and cost effective. But some of the very interesting things that IIT Mandi has done can basically improve oral delivery, and it can be stored at room temperature, and it can be cost effective, and the drug, this molecule when converted to a drug, can be very effective against diabetes. IIT Mandi also has done some research on Himalayan flower petals to inhibit SARS-CoV-2 infection. When we look at this, we fondly remember Ramayana when Lord Hanuman had to take some herbs from Himalayas to save Lord Lakshmana. I think this is something very close. As you see, Mandi is on the Himachal range. There are also a lot of work done on synthetic sequence defined polymers for anti-cancer drugs done by IIT Palakkad. So put together, friends, IITs are doing a lot of work related to health, health devices, and specifically diseases. In addition, there is also a need to have assistive technologies for the physically challenged people. And there are a lot of 4D printed mechanism like the exoskeleton and gripper mechanism that you see on the left hand side, and then the Neobolt motorized wheelchair and artificial feet that you see on the right hand side. So these are all assistive technology, and that will be of great use to mankind. IIT Kanpur actually has a very ambitious project called Hridyantra, which is basically to develop a artificial heart. Now there is also a lot more of emphasis that needs to go for the farmers. So IIT Madras is involved in a project called RASA, which is called Regenerative Agriculture Stack Architecture, which looks at a farm to kitchen technology with sufficient sensor interventions, and we can create digital twins to basically simulate some of the important crucial components in this stack. There is a complete work done on precision agriculture for small farmers by IIT Dharwad, which also look at some of the very interesting steps there. There is under the National Mission on Interdisciplinary Cyber Physical Systems funded by the Department of Science and Technology, there are multiple hubs which are looking at multiple aspects of the Sustainable Development Goal, and specifically from the Agriculture and Water Technology Development Hub from IIT Roper, which are basically looking at IoT based harvesting and post harvesting automation for dealing with some of the issues in these stages of crop growth, and also for irrigation. From the technology building aids, there are many 3D printing efforts taken basically to make a 3D printer. Rather than using a 3D printer, can we make a 3D printer? There is one thing in the area of additive manufacturing that is said by IIT Hyderabad, and then there are many metallic printing and additive manufacturing initiatives set by IIT Jodhpur. What you see on the right hand side is an Atmanirbhar made in India micro 3D printer by IIT Indore, which is a novel in-house developed technologies which uses thin films as a source material for printing. This is very important because we use significantly less amount of raw material to basically print some of the technology, in-house developed technologies. Building automation also takes a very big role. There are smart windows for power saving, which can filter off the UV rays and keep the room clean and also cool, which essentially means that with a little reasonable effort, one can survive without an air conditioning in these rooms. Of course, there are other house construction technologies like the 3D printed house that you see here, which is done at IIT Madras. So these are some of the interesting building automations that are taken up. Last but not the least, we look at space technology, where we want to bring space within everyone's reach. And typically we are looking at a rapid launch facility specifically for low Earth orbit satellites. So when we want to do this rapid launch, why we need to do rapid launch? Because across the globe there is statistics which says in the next 5 years we may need 1,20,000 square feet above Earth. And if that means every country, every launch pad has to at least send 3 launches per week to meet this target. That means we need to have a rapid launch facility, and this space technology research done by IIT Madras will basically give you this rapid launch facility, where we take the rocket on a lorry and open lorry and basically use to launch the rocket and come back. So this doesn't mean this essentially means that there is nothing after the rocket is taken off, there is nothing that we bring back, but there are re-entry type of rockets where we need to bring back what is sent. And so this is a very exciting field where we look at how do we generate lot of rockets and how do we basically launch them through a rapid launch facility. In addition, there are some work done by IIT Patna which look at novel orientation and independence and wireless heat spreader for space cooling applications. This is actually for unmanned flight of the Gaganyaan and it's supported by, project is supported by ISRO. So there is a lot of work happening in the area of space technology. Then there are disruptive technologies for mining. ISM Dhanbad is looking at that. So we have lot of survey data sets and hyperspectral signature of various minerals through which we can do this AI exploration. And some of the other interesting projects at ISM Dhanbad are digitalization of mining process in a harsh and dynamic environment, and pit to port optimization, that is from geological modeling and mine engineering. This workforce will also look at multidisciplinary inputs to basically do the pit to port optimization. And then we need an underground positioning system also for basically effectively doing the mining process. 5G is very important, and as a country we have been responsible for developing a standard for our country called 5GI, which is currently going to become mandatory in the release 17 and above. So this is where we are standing, and very importantly an end-to-end 5G testbed which is working to the satisfaction, very satisfactorily working, has been constructed at IIT Madras, and the entire effort was done by multiple faculty across the 5 institutions, IIT Bombay, Kanpur, Delhi, Hyderabad, IISc and myself, the IIT Madras, and then Samir, another organization. These people have collectively done this 5G communications. And then there are a lot of efforts on the 5G side in terms of the Atmanirbhar cognitive radio antennas that are all developed by ISM Dhanbad. Mobility is very crucial. So IIT Madras has embarked on a Hyperloop project. Hyperloop is to create a vacuum in the tube and basically send the train or cargo at very great speeds, and if it's a vacuum, these can travel much faster. Other important research activities include a lot of high altitude stuff from IIT Jammu. This is extremely important for our soldiers who are defending our country. Of course, the digital twins are also very important. So what's a digital twin? A system, I mimic it completely using digital technology. So there will be a software running on a system which will be the digital twin of an hardware that is happening on a system. And then there are virtual reality and augmented reality. This becomes very important from an immersive skill training point of view. In addition, there are some tourist applications which looks at heritage structures and tourism, and then of course lot of medical applications which are very important. Then there is a Center for Applied Research in Defense and Security CARDS at IIT Ropur, and there is a lot of work going on cyber security and blockchain technologies. IIT Kanpur has successfully launched this in the state of Karnataka, and it has been implemented. Then a lot of work is happening on the IoT based systems. Waste to wealth has been very high priority for IIT Madras, and there is a very good importance for garbage disposal, including small pieces of concrete. So this is very, very extremely important. In addition, there is a lot of work happening on the battery technologies. Basically, we are looking at zinc based batteries which will be available in some detail within the country, and so zinc based batteries may be a very, very powerful Atmanirbhar solution to the battery field of battery technologies. Now, lot of effort has been put by multiple IITs to see that this battery that is put on vehicles are accident free. This is basically that the batteries that are used are accident free, and there is a lot of effort that has been taken by many of the IITs, including IIT Bombay. There's the most important innovation in this battery is no fire or fumes when it become when it loses charge. So friends, what we have seen here is a collection of what is happening in the country, in the emerging areas, specifically concentrating on health technologies, manufacturing and electric vehicles that we touched in the last, and the space initiative. I think these are all very, very important emerging areas, and all youth must aspire to basically work in this area, get an understanding of this area in a focused manner, so that we will develop solutions of societal and economic importance down the line, and will serve as a very, very major contribution back to the country towards the journey of a completely Atmanirbhar 2047, where India is aspiring to become a global leader, and all these small efforts by many of you will really matter in making our country really a technology superpower as dreamt by many of us, and also you being a part of this very wonderful journey. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and I hope you all enjoyed this lecture. Namaste.